The Pennypack. The name, or the pronunciation, of an Algonquin word by the original settlers along the creek. The Swedish, Dutch settlers, who pronounced the word Pennypecka, meaning slow, dark, dead, downward flowing water. It's also been translated as dark, dead water that flows uphill. They got this name from the people that were inhabiting the area when they were here in the late 1500s through the early 1600s. The Susquehannock. And they described these people just as John Smith and other French explorers described them, as tall, athletic, imperial, beautiful people that were adorned in silver and gold and knew how to work with metals and wore furs, did not have hair on their body, very deep baritone voices. They were told by the Susquehannock not to wander up into the hills in the area where there was a race of flat-headed, chinless monsters that lived in the hills. And oddly enough, this group has the Iroquois and the Wyandot. They have legends of this flying angry head, and we find pendants made of crude amalgamations of gold, or just a very nice piece of quartz with native gold running in it. And we see these beautiful side profiles of one that appears to be very ape-like, a Nephilim almost. The other, a more European but chinless profile. These head effigies, also animal side profiles of either a fox or a wolf in limestone and gold, a beaver in very, very high grade with some silver content in it, limestone and quartz as a bright white color. We see the stub-nosed bear with some sort of hand throwing either an axe or a sword across it, making up its nose as the hand and its eyes as the sword. Very hard to see. It's being the right light. Certain filters on the camera help, but it's just because it needs to be cleaned. Some of this stuff has so old it has limestone deposits calcifying on it. And, so the collection ranges from possibly 60,000 years ago all the way up to 300 years ago. And there's silver arrowheads, there's silver axe heads, there's evidence of where we find these of ancient mining activity that went on for years, and it de-escalated and just became knowledge passed down to the next group. So I'm going to be coming out with a more detailed documentary about this. It's just a ton of work, and I just keep little updates and little videos, but it's the Pennypack. I'm not doing this to go start a silver or gold mine. You can't dig on these lands. They're protected lands, the majority of them. You can't go digging. All these are creek finds within the tidal bounds, respecting all state laws when it comes to this kind of stuff. None of this is for sale. I hope to someday create some kind of museum or further the understanding, both the area, this important people answering this crazy legend that started back in the late 1500s from this new world, silver mines around Acadia. The geology's right in the Pennypack to support silver. We've already found it. We've already found mine entrances that are caved in. Um, there's a crazy cave system. The creek winds down towards northeast Philly as it gets close to the Delaware, goes through Larmer Park, eventually connecting up with the Fairmount Park system. Crazy caves. I believe someday they're going to find a vaulted up cave that has cave art, and just like they found in France years ago. It's going to be like a time capsule, because a lot of the stuff that you see is from an earlier people, caveman type people, percussion flaking, Neanderthal style tools, possibly one of the oldest spearheads found in America, this harpoon like spearhead, Clovis. It's been heat treated, it's slightly magnetic still, it's got all kinds of growth on it from mineral deposits because it's so old. This is where a hand axe made of obsidian was found. I believe there's a Mayan connection with the Susquehannocks that you're going to find out. Half of their bloodline probably came from the mound builders and the Adinas, which I believe were related to the Mayans, and possibly these silver mines were exploited 1,000 years ago to 1,500 years ago, and the Mayan Empire stretched way further, and they had influenced it and obviously passed the knowledge that Susquehannocks had of metal, silver, and gold was in making pewter objects. Other tribes weren't doing this, and they were using it to trade for guns and cannons. They were one of the only tribes with cannons. They were warlike, and they were in between two tribes and two federations that they hated, so they had to be defended on both sides. But this group, the Susquehanna, the Andasti, the Wyandot, the Wyasox, the Conestoga, the Minzwa, the Minque, the Minzi, people of the Muddy Waters, people of the Black and Pole. Their customs and rituals were in pottery and styles, and their possible mutilation of their genitalia as witnessed by others, because one of the names Minzwa means, tribe without penis. This could have been from witnessing circumcision type rituals and practices that the Susquehanna participated in that the other tribes did not. So the relation to the Pennypack, to the Susquehanna, to the silver, and then the collection represents people that were running around with the mammoths and thousands of years before the Susquehannock were even around, the proto-Susquehannock, the groups prior, the ancient men, the ancient tools that we're finding that represent this much older time period. There's really no way to sort it when you're finding things in a deposit. It's kind of garbage archaeology when you can't dig. Sometimes you get lucky and the stream washes away a chunk of land, and that's how you can find some stuff where there's the creek has redirected and there's an ancient spot of it that's dried out that you can walk through and go right up to the banks and go right into the layers. You can't really sort the time period out. You can sort the material out and the style out, and that's about it. But the area is amazing. It's like a primordial piece of forest, a chunk of land that was just saved, that's trapped in time. I encourage anyone to check out the trails in the Pennypack. You get lost in them. It's just a beautiful place. It used to be a lot more rustic. The trails used to be a lot more run down. Some of them were very hard to access, but they've recently invested tons of money, and it's almost like a tourist attraction now. It's almost gotten a little too busy. It used to be my place of solitude, but it's big enough for everyone to enjoy, and There's so many mysteries in that place. The creek itself is worshipped because it's born from the ground. It's well born, starting in Warminster, near county line, near where the Battle of Crooked Bullet was. These wells start the stream. They're worshipped. The dark pools were worshipped by some of the groups. It eventually flows to the Delaware. It follows a fault line. The word Pennypack originally came from Pinaka or Pinaka, which is just place or waters or lake or swamp of the dead. It could have been a burial area or a sacred area. There are some burial mounds on top of hills that I believe are burials. Obviously, we're not going to go digging around. There's grave acts and protection acts. You don't dig in these mounds at all. You will go to jail. All my finds are creek walking and fall within the parameters of what you're allowed to do. I'm just trying to advance our understanding a bit. It's fascinating though. Enjoy the pictures, and these are just little update videos. I hope to put something more professional together, but I don't get paid for this right now, and it's hard to find time. You work a job, you got a lot of things going on, and I invest a ton of time in this stuff too. I just hope others out there reach out with things they find. Maybe I helped answer a question, or you can help expand my knowledge with things that you have found. But the silver mines are within the bounds of the Pennypack Watershed, multiple locations. All the geology is there. All the finds support it. But just enjoy. I've been working on this research for over 10 years, and you haven't even heard a tiny bit of where this all goes. Just stay tuned. My background, if anyone's wondering, I am an amateur in the field of archaeology. I have a psychology degree. I was a laureate nominee and scholar in archaeology and anthropological studies. I have a tier degree in that. I have a tier degree in early education from Penn State. I was a Psi Chi member. That's for being on the dean's list for all 4 years and ranking in the top 10% of your major or your study. School is always something I was very good at, and I had some cool teachers that really got me into the archaeology thing. They showed me some cool things that really made me say, we don't know where we came from or what was before us, because we haven't dug it up yet, or we haven't discovered it yet. We just don't know about it yet. 4.2 billion years old the Earth is approximately, so a lot could have happened. What if we're way older than we think we are? What if there is a race of people bigger and more powerful before us, and the climate and the increased oxygen allowed us to be bigger and stronger, and some of these people were left over and some weren't. Maybe there was extraterrestrial or angels or whatever you want to call them, or Anunnaki, the people from the sky came down and bore offspring like Genesis talks about. Maybe that was all true. Certainly would explain these unexplainable and unfathomable building projects of the megalithic period, the octagonal masonry and the sheer size and perfect fit of structures all around the world. We can't do it today. How did they do it? Maybe they were different, or maybe they had under their thumb or labor the remnants of these ancient, bigger people that we descended from. I don't know the answer. That's what we're hoping to do. But just stay tuned. Susquehannocks and the silver are directly related. The silver mines of Pennsylvania are a true story. and they're probably in multiple spots across Pennsylvania, not just one. There's even Silver Mine Park out in Lancaster County, Quake County, I believe, which was a stronghold of the Susquehannocks. Again, silver associated with the Susquehannocks and their movement. They were exploiting this. They knew it had value, and that means that they were trading with Europeans for a very long time, or people that valued it. So stay tuned as we dig deeper into this can of worms.